At a time when Indian Navy's P-8I surveillance planes are carrying out frequent sweeps over the eastern Ladakh sector, the Navy's maritime fighter jets MiG-29K will be deployed in the northern sector for operations. The deployment of the naval fighter aircraft at the Indian Air Force, IAF, bases is in line with Prime Minister Narendra Modi's directives for enhancing jointness between the three services and Chief of Defence Staff General Bipin Rawat's call for the possibility of deployment of maritime combat aircraft along the northern or western borders with the Air Force. It is being planned to deploy the MiG-29K fighter aircraft at an Indian Air Force base in the northern sector. They might be used for carrying out operational flying in the eastern Ladakh sector along the line of actual control, LAC, government sources told ANI. The Indian Navy has a fleet of over 40 MiG-29K fighter jets that are deployed on the aircraft carrier INS Vikramaditya and carry out regular flying from the naval fighter base INS Hansa in Goa. The Russian-origin fighters were procured by the Indian Navy along with the aircraft carrier over a decade ago. Amid the ongoing dispute with the Chinese People's Liberation Army, PLA, the Indian Navy has been playing an important role as its planes are being used for surveillance along the LAC for picking up the Chinese activities and positions there. India's long-range anti-submarine, reconnaissance, surveillance, and electronic jamming capabilities in the Indian Ocean region are going to get a further boost with the induction of 4 more P-8I multi-mission aircraft from the US next year. India has the option of buying another 6 from Boeing to be negotiated later in 2021, people familiar with the developments in New Delhi and Seattle said. The Indian Navy variant of the P-8A Poseidon P-8I, where I stands for India, is essentially designed for maritime patrol. Integrated with the Harpoon Block II air-launched missiles and lightweight torpedoes, the reconnaissance craft it can carry 129 sonobuoys to locate submarines and turns into a deadly submarine killer that can also launch anti-ship missiles. The proposed acquisitions come against the backdrop of China's efforts to militarize the South China Sea and expand its sea footprint. The P-8I aircraft is designed for long-range anti-submarine warfare, anti-surface warfare, and intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance missions. It operates with joint and combined, but it can be used elsewhere too. The military had relied on the reconnaissance aircraft for surveillance during the ongoing Ladakh standoff with China as well as the 2017 Doklam standoff. Amid the ongoing boundary dispute between India and China, DRDO has provided its indigenously developed drone named Bharat to the Indian Army for carrying out accurate surveillance in high-altitude areas and mountainous terrain along the line of actual control in eastern Ladakh. The Indian Army requires drones for accurate surveillance in the ongoing dispute in the eastern Ladakh area. For this requirement, the DRDO has provided the Bharat drones to it, defense sources told ANI here. The Bharat drones have been developed by a Chandigarh-based laboratory of the Defence Research and Development Organisation. The Bharat series of the drones can be listed among world's most agile and lightest surveillance drone. Indigenously developed by the DRDO. DRDO sources said the small yet powerful drone works autonomously at any location with great accuracy. The unibody biomimetic design with advanced release technology is a lethal combination for surveillance missions. The drone is equipped with artificial intelligence to detect friends and foes and can take action accordingly. The drone has been made capable of survival in extreme cold weather temperatures and is being developed further for harsher weather. The drone provides real-time video transmission during the complete missions, and with very advanced night vision capabilities, it can detect humans hidden in deep forests. It is gaining a lot of popularity because it can operate in swarm operations, sources said. The drone has been built in a way that makes it impossible to be detected by radar. The U.S. House of Representatives has unanimously passed an amendment to the National Defense Authorization Act, NDAA, slamming China's aggression against India in the Galwan Valley in Ladakh and its growing territorial assertiveness in and around disputed areas like the South China Sea. The NDAA amendment, moved by Congressman Steve Shabu along with Indian-American lawmaker Ami Bera and passed on Monday, said that India and China should work towards de-escalating the situation along the line of actual control. The troops of India and China have been in a standoff in several areas along the line of actual control in eastern Ladakh since May 5. The situation deteriorated last month following the Galwan Valley clashes that left 20 Indian Army personnel dead. Passed unanimously by the House of Representatives along with scores of other amendments, it said that the expansion and aggression of the People's Republic of China in and around territories such as the Line of Actual Control, the South China Sea, the Senkaku Islands, is of significant concern. The bipartisan amendment states U.S. Congress's opposition to Chinese aggression against India in the Galwan Valley on the Line of Actual Control, and expresses its concern toward the growing territorial assertiveness of China. China has used the distraction of the coronavirus to attempt to seize territory belonging to India, as well as to press its territorial claims in the South China Sea, it said. China claims almost all of the 1.3 million square mile South China Sea as its territory. China has been building military bases on artificial islands in the region, which is also claimed by Brunei, Malaysia, the Philippines, Taiwan, and Vietnam. For long, Indian defense analysts have dismissed PLAAF Su-27 and their copies J-11 as nothing but inferior, and also took dig at the Su-30 MKI supplied to PLAAF by Russia, which is heavily downgraded export model which is technologically not comparable with the IAF Su-30 MKI fleet, which due to its Indo-Western equipment had edge over PLAAF's original and copied flankers until J-16 came along with much superior spec sheet, at least on the paper. Unlike Su-27 and its copies J-11, J-16 is configured for both air-to-air and air-to-ground missions with its multi-mode AESA radar. J-16 is powered by the Chinese W.S-10 Taihang turbofan engine, which is not so reliable like the Russian AL-31F engines, but they can generate the same levels of thrust and locally produced, which means lower ownership and operating cost for the PLAAF. China's experience in the development of J-11 airframe and its poor tries to incorporate local technology in an illegally manufactured jet has allowed them to develop J-16 with many improvements that were found lacking in J-11. J-16 are not only younger than Su-30 MKI but also incorporate newer technologies, as seen with the introduction of composite airframes, AESA radar, missile warning system, MAWS, radar warning receiver, RWR. J-16 has no edge over Su-30 MKI, at least in terms of avionics, since Chinese AESA radar is not superior to the PESA radar of the Su-30 MKI. Since both have the same level of search and track range and are still very much can do the same level tracking and detection, but worry could be that Russians have supplied Chinese with a small fleet of Su-35 fighter jets, which Chinese obviously will reverse engineer to incorporate some of this features in the J-16 or go ahead and introduce Chinese copy of the Su-35 in near future. Su-30 MKI still enjoys a reliable AL-31F engine with thrust vectoring nozzles and Indo-Israeli avionics with French systems, but Chinese by various improvements are trying to bring parity if not edge over IAF's Su-30 MKI fleet, which should ring some alarm bells in headquarter of IAF. Indo-Russian talks over upgrading Su-30 MKI has been undergoing on for a long time now, and but little has happened on the ground. Indian defense analysts have been urging public-private sector companies to come up with local modernization plans for the Su-30 MKI fleet, but that has not happened yet. While IAF has placed orders for 12 more Su-30 MKI with HAL off late, we have to remember that current technology of the Su-30 MKI was defined and is based on the technology which was developed in 1997-98, and it's over 20 years old now and fast approaching obsolescence levels, and it's time we do some catch up of our own.